Hello everyone, Peter Harris here with Commercial Property Advisors. Hope you're doing well. I want to share a fact with you. And that fact is 9 out of 10 property managers are no good. That means 9 out of 10 will completely fail you on your property, right? They'll fail you either physically, where they won't take care of the property and they'll drag it to the ground, right? Or they won't take care of it financially, where they will make mistakes accounting-wise, or they'll steal from you. So this video is about preventing property management fraud. So I'm going to share with you how they steal from you and how you can prevent it. I'm all about teaching our students how to maximize their cash flow and cash returns using commercial real estate. So this is a very important topic. Not a very positive one, but probably the most useful video you will ever see on property management. Okay? All right, so let's get started. I will share with you a true story. Okay, this story is about property manager Debbie. Okay, Debbie was a superstar in the property, right? She's been managing your property for 6 years. Again, true story. She keeps the property full. It's clean. It's always occupied. It cash flows, right? She runs the payroll, pays the invoices, and does bank reconciliation. So she runs the entire accounting. Okay, and she helps you close deals. When you're ready to close your deal, you need to pull financials for the lenders, what have you, she's always there for you, okay? And we will call her an all-star property manager. We all want one of those, an all-star property manager, because they allow you to go on other deals, okay? That's all-star Debbie. Well, life started to unravel with all-star Debbie, and Debbie turned into Thief Debbie. Let me share with you how this happens. This happens all too often, okay? I want you to be on the lookout. So Debbie's always seemed to be short of cash, okay? Now, she always seemed short of cash, but why one day did she lease a brand new Mercedes, right? Next, 4 years ago, Debbie got divorced, and the owners knew that. They gave her a flex schedule. Some of the owner's kids babysat her kids so she can come to work and take care of things court-wise, right? But this divorce caused her to go into major credit card debt, okay? And she asked the owner for a raise. Now, Debbie's pay scale was already at the top, so they implemented a bonus system so she would get bonuses if she can keep the property full and meet certain goals. And she did, and she got paid. But Debbie saw that the owners were getting dividends of $200,000 per year, and she felt entitled to that money. She felt she's working her butt off. She should get some of that, right? Even though she's top of the pay scale and getting bonuses, she felt entitled. Well, to make a long story short, Debbie started writing checks to herself, right? Now, pay attention to this. This is embezzlement, okay? Pay attention. This is how it happened. Debbie, she paid an electrical utility expense bill for $850. Then she wrote herself a check for $85, okay? And then she wrote another check for $700 for the office printer. Then wrote herself a check for $70. So she wrote herself a check for $85 and $70. She cashed it. Then later on, after it was cashed, she went back into the system and changed those two checks to electrical and office expense so no one can find it. That's embezzlement. Okay, that's embezzlement. Well, Debbie did this for a long time, for 4 years, right? One day, Debbie got into a bad car accident, and she had to take 2 weeks off to get her car repaired and heal up. We all feel bad for her, okay? Now, so in the meantime, the owners brought in a temp, CPA, to pick up where she left off on the accounting-wise. The temp accountant decided to reconcile the bank accounts. And she discovered the double checks, a lot of them. Almost every category in accounting, a lot of them all had double checks. That's the embezzlement, double checks. Remember that word, okay? And to make a long story short, Debbie was confronted. She confessed, and Debbie has spent 3 years behind bars, okay? And the judge has ruled against her a judgment of about $175,000. The owners will never see that. Debbie is flat broke. They'll never see that, right? So over the course of the 4 years of Debbie being the superstar that she was, she stole $210,000 from the owners, right? You don't know why. It's because she had complete control over the accounting. And then this trust did not line up with her character when things personally unraveled for her, right? So some things in your personal life you can't control. However, as owners, you need to control the accounting on your property, okay? In this video, I'm going to share with you how to prevent property management fraud by sharing with you how they steal from you, all right? And I'll give you the remedies. Let's get started. All right, let's get started right here. I'm going to share with you the 7 basic functions of a property manager for a commercial property, okay? All right, so their first function is accounting. Their second function is rent collection. Their third function is leasing. The fourth function is repairs and maintenance. All sound pretty common, right? The fifth function is security deposits. The sixth function is mortgage and utility payments. And the seventh function is inspection of the property. Okay, so those are the 7 basic functions that a typical property manager will do for you on your commercial property. Okay, now these 7 functions revolve around one thing: money. Okay, your money. Did you know that the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, there's a company out there that they have forensic auditors that go in and they examine the financials of a company to look for theft. They have found out that the average embezzler steals $145,000, okay? And 22% of them steal more than $1 million. So this subject matter, what I'm going to share, is so important, okay? So now what I want to jump into now is I want to give you several ways in which a property manager can steal from you so that you can have the watchful eyes, okay? This is not rocket science, okay? Let's do that next. All right, let's get started here. I know that I'm being very harsh on property managers in this video, and there are some really awesome, trustworthy, superb, superstar property managers out there, and you're probably one of them, right? But there's a few bad apples in the bunch that gives the good property managers a bad name, okay? I've been in this business for over 20 years. I had some super great ones today. They're super great. In years prior, I had some ones that stunk up the place. All right. So I learned from the ones that stunk up the place. And that's what I want to share today. So what happened to me doesn't have to happen to you. Okay. That's why I'm sharing this. All right. So here, let me share with you the first couple ways that property managers can steal from you. Like I said, it's not rocket science. Okay. It's not rocket science. Number one is they can pocket unreported income. Here's how they do that. Let's say you have a vacant unit, okay? They will fill the vacant unit, but they don't record it in the property management software, and they pocket the money for a few months, right? So they'll tell you, you look at the report and you go, man, unit 101 has been vacant for like 2 or 3 months. I know, I'm working on it. It's almost full. I'm getting a lot of inquiries, but I just can't seem to fill it, right? But it is filled. Right? And how they do that, they hide the unit status in the property management software for a few months while they pocket the money. Then after a while, they say, okay, we got it filled, and they will, in the system, move that person in, even though that person's been in there for 3 months. Okay? So that's way number 1. Way number 2 is to create bogus invoices. Here's what they do. They would create a bogus invoice. Let's say it's a $1,000 invoice for contract services, and it gets paid to a fake company. Okay, and the fake company is theirs. Okay, it's the property manager's company, and then they will pay the bogus invoice and pocket the money. Okay, so the work was never done. The work was never done. The property never ever needed that work, right? But they created it so they can pay themselves and steal from the owners $1,000. Okay, so 2 simple ways, right, that they can steal from you. Let me share a few more other ways in which this can happen. All right, here are the 3rd and 4th way that a property manager whom you trust, that's the hard part, whom you trust may possibly steal from you. Okay, so number 3 is called receiving kickbacks. We all know what a kickback is, but here's what it looks like in property management, and it is totally unethical. Okay, now the property manager orders a $3,500 air conditioning unit. Okay, $3,500, but it should cost $2,500. Okay, so they pay $1,000 extra for the AC unit, and then the air conditioning company kicks back them $1,000 profit, okay, to the property manager. That is totally unethical and, in my opinion, against the law. But this is how they steal from you, and this is very hard to find unless you can stay on top of your game, and we will go over that in a few minutes, okay? How to find out stuff like this. All right, number 4 is called the double check fraud. This is exactly what Debbie did, okay? Now this double check fraud, it can go unnoticed for years, okay? Unnoticed. It is very difficult to find unless you are on it on your accounting system. Now, again, I'll share with you, the property manager writes 2 checks, okay? 1 check for the utility expense and 1 check to themselves. And then they cash the checks, okay? They cash the check paid to themselves, and they come back and change the check in the accounting system to the utility vendor. So you will never see it unless you match the check versus the expense on your P&Ls. Okay? And if your property manager has complete control over the accounting, you'll never know. Okay? Now, all right, so that was number 3 and number 4. And so what I want to do next is, I just gave you 4 simple and very quick ways they can steal from you. Now I want to share with you something very practical. Are there signs, Peter, that tell me my property manager is stealing from me or on the verge of stealing? Yes, there are signs. Okay, let's do that next. Here are 6 things to watch out for, which may indicate that your property manager is stealing from you or about to steal from you. Okay, now let me just say this. Property managers are like all of us. They're like human beings tasked with things to do for a living. And sometimes their personal lives can take control of their work lives. That's what you have to watch out for. Okay, so this applies to not only commercial real estate property management, to any other business you're running. You have to watch out for these things. Okay, now number 1 is if you notice that someone in the office, in the property management office, is having financial issues or difficulty, that could be a sign, right, that they need more money, and your property, with all the cash coming in, could solve their issue. Okay, so you watch out for that. Number 2, if you notice that the property manager is living beyond their means, okay, you know their salary, you know their take-home pay, and they're single, so how are they buying new cars and going to Bora Bora, Tahiti, and buying expensive jewelry? Right? How do they do that? Right? Could it be that they're embezzling? Number 3, if they're getting divorced. Okay, divorce is a horrible thing, and it can disrupt your personal life, and it is actually worse than bankruptcy. Okay, so when you get divorced, when your property manager is getting divorced, it's a sign that your financial life is about to turn completely upside down. Okay, not only their personal life, but their financial life. Okay, number 4, if there's a noticeable change in their habits, right? If all of a sudden Debbie was once cheerful, now she's depressed, or once she had everything so organized on her desk in the system and now is disorganized, that's a warning sign. That's a warning sign that things are about to change. Okay. Number 5, you suspect drugs or gambling. Unfortunately, this can happen to the A-class down to C-class properties where drugs or gambling can impact the work life of your property manager. Next thing you know, to support the drugs and gambling, they're going to steal from the property. Again, things to watch out for. Lastly, number 6, if your property manager is exhibiting control issues. Here's an example. They let no one touch the accounting system. They let no one touch. No one else has the passwords. If you need a bill printed out, they will do it. Anything to do with accounting money, they will do it. They have complete control, and no one will touch it. So you would say that person has control issues. Makes you wonder, why are they so controlling? All right? Okay. So again, these are 6 things to watch out for with your property manager. If they exhibit these signs, you need to be extra, extra watchful. All right? Okay, now let's go on and discuss some possible solutions or things you need to have in place to prevent any of this from happening. Let's do that next. All right, let's finish up here. By the way, those of you out there, I just gave you 4 simple ways of how a property manager can steal from you. If you know of any other ways, this channel is all about education, okay? Educating all of us. So we all learn from this channel, including myself. So if you can, why don't you put in the comments other ways that property managers may steal from you, so that we can all learn and see and just be more aware. It's about awareness, okay? All right, so what I want to do here in this final piece is I'm going to start with some solutions on what to do to help you prevent property management fraud. And I'm going to start with 3 simple things. You don't have to be an accountant or have a degree in accounting or be a CPA to do these 3 things as the owner. Okay, this is what we teach our students. Number 1 is you must have internal controls over the numbers. Okay. Number 2, you need to have your own accounting. I'll share what that means. And number 3, you need to have complete control over the bookkeeping. Right? What do all 3 have in common? One thing: money. Your money. You need to control your money. You're buying income producing property. You need to be aware and control of the income and expenses. Got it? Okay, let's start with number 1. Number 1, you must have internal controls. What I mean by that is all of your accounting procedures must be documented. Once an invoice comes in, what happens to it? If you hire a third-party manager, you don't do it yourself, most likely. You can call and ask, how is that done? Once you guys receive a bill, how's it done? You must understand that. All the receipts, all the invoices must be double-checked, okay? And you need to check for validity, okay? That the invoices are valid. This is where the beginning of fraud prevention starts right here, okay? This is where it happens. This is to have internal controls and separate procedures and best practices need to happen right here. Number 2, you need to have your own accounting. What I mean by that is to segregate your accounting duties. Okay? If you recall, the problem with Debbie was Debbie had complete control over the accounting. She put in all the bills, she paid the invoices, she did bank reconciliations, she had complete control. All right? So what they should have done is separate those duties. Okay? We call that segregation of accounting duties. Basically, one person does data entry, the other person pays the bills. Okay? Not one person, because you're going to be like Debbie. Okay? Got it? All right. Number 3 is to have complete control over bookkeeping. Okay? I'm not saying you're going to be the bookkeeper. What I'm saying is control over it, knowing what's happening bookkeeping-wise on your property. You can use technology for that. This is what I teach our students. When you purchase a commercial property, property manager takes over. The property manager works off of software. It's high-tech software now, and nearly all of it is online. You need to get online access to their software. They can give you your own user ID number so you can get in and look in as an owner. They have an ownership portal that you can go in and look at income, expenses, checks, and run your reports 24/7. Got it? 24/7. And lastly, this is what we do for our students. So we have a separate third-party software, probably the most powerful property management / accounting software in the world. We have our students take their information from the property managers into that system. So we, as coaches who are 20 times more experienced than our students, to look at the numbers and make sure things match up. So we are their eyes for property management theft and fraud. Got it? Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Start with these solutions, and you'll be better off, guaranteed. All right? Okay. All right. So thanks for watching. And again, this channel is all about education, right? So number 1, if you like this video, like it. Number 2, what I want you to do, if you know any other ways that property managers may steal from you or commit fraud, please type a little note in the comment box so we can all learn from it. All right? All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for watching Preventing Property Management Fraud. I'll see you at the next video.